Pregame.com.
The defending Super Bowl champs kick off the 2017 season on Thursday night, NBC. This is Brad Bowers in the Pregame.com studios just off the Vegas Strip. And the NFL regular season is finally here. We got a great matchup between two playoff teams from a year ago. We got the Chiefs taking on the defending champ New England Patriots.
I think I can speak for all of Vegas and the country. Thank goodness the NFL is back. Who do you got?
I got the under in this one. That's right. We're going under the total for the first game, under 48.5. Number one factor for me, I know Tom Brady and the New England offense gets all the headlines. But the reality is their defense often gets overlooked. In fact, last year, New England's defense was number one in the entire NFL in scoring defense. I know they had a couple of subpar seasons there in the Belichick era after they were so good and known as a defensive franchise in the early part of his tenure there. They're starting to get back to those defensive ways, and I expect this defense this year to be just as good as last year.
Now, if you look at the raw stats for both defenses, they don't look all that good in terms of the number of yards they give up per play. But we can make a case that both defenses are undervalued based upon their ability to really shut down their opponents in terms of points, right?
Yeah, you're exactly right. And why are we getting value? Because statistically, when you factor in the yards per play, the total offense, they don't look very good. Or in fact, they look pretty average. You look at Kansas City, number 24 in the NFL in defensive yards per allowed, but they're number 7 in scoring defense. Same thing with the Patriots. They're number 1 in scoring defense, but only number 8 as far as yards per game allowed.
Let's talk side a little bit. This is an amazing stat. So you have the Super Bowl winner. They always open up Thursday, and you would think, oh, ultra-public team, the public's going to bet on them. They're going to have a losing spread record. Not so. 14-2-1 for the defending Super Bowl champion on opening night.
That's crazy. And maybe there's an extra uptick as far as getting the rings, the whole celebration from last year. But you would think if there's going to be any one team that's going to be most public during the whole offseason that people are going to want to bet on, it'd be the defending Super Bowl champs. Now, with that being said, that makes New England very tempting. And I'm going to give you credit. We did a video on this game a couple months ago. You gave out New England -7, so kudos to you for getting ahead of the line move here. But what would worry me at the current 9 line that we're seeing around most shops is Andy Reid getting more than a touchdown. In his career, he's 12-3 against the number.
Got some key injuries that's helping your under here on offense for each team. Want to break them down?
Yeah, Kansas City loses their leading rusher from last year in Spencer Ware. They're going to start a rookie by the name of Kareem Hunt. Now, I like the upside for Hunt later in the season, but his first game as a professional going up against a Belichick defense might not be a good look. They might throw some confusing looks at him as far as pass protection and that. And then you look at Julian Edelman for the New England Patriots, the safety valve for Tom Brady, the chain mover for him. I think I think New England's offense will be fine by the end of the year, but there's going to be an adjustment period early on.
Yeah, Brady's got some new toys in the New Orleans receiver Cooks. He picks up Dorsett, but it's going to take a little while for the timing to be perfect. Your second key handicap.
All right, let's talk about how Kansas City has generated points the last couple of years. They've often relied heavily on their special teams. They were number 1 in the NFL last year in special teams. They got a great returner. Well, the problem is they take advantage of the teams that obviously are well below average special teams. That's not the case for New England. Belichick teams don't beat themselves, and in fact, New England last year was top 10 in the special teams.
Yeah, so we look at their turnover differential. They're plus 30 the last 2 years, an incredible stat. What's happening? They're getting fumble recoveries. They're getting interceptions. They're getting a short field because of that and punching the ball in and scoring points. Well, if you offered me pick 'em on this line, who's going to have more turnovers? I'm betting Kansas City to have more turnovers. They're not going to get those turnovers and thus not get the short field.
Yeah, as good as Kansas City's been, and they've been the best in the NFL the last 2 years as far as turnover margin, well, you look at long term. In fact, New England's the only team in the last 3 years to be in the top 5 in turnover margin each and every year. Let's face it, Tom Brady's not throwing interceptions, not going to be setting up Kansas City for short field score.
And it's easy to hold on to the ball when it's not, inflated as much. Let's make it official.
Yeah, let's make this one official. Going under the total for the first game, under 48.5. New England's defense is often overlooked because the offense grabs the headlines. Reality is they're number 1 in the NFL in scoring defense. And Kansas City has relied heavily on special teams touchdowns and short scoring fields because of turnover margin. That's not going to happen against New England, who's also top 10 in special teams and also really good as far as turnover margin goes. Add it all up, and I'm looking for a lower scoring first game under the total, and we'll have more videos at pregame.com.